Commander, would you be willing to, at least with the police that are in the Escambia County Public Schools, come to the table and look at best practices? I mean, we can look over at Okaloosa, but we can look all over and come up with some sort of program that addresses what you talked about with the issues of image, and just some sort of intervention program where, like an alternative to arrest in the school. If the school site, the school district provides space for that.
I'm already in discussions with a group, and I'm going to look at other possibilities. There's a group called Pacific Institute, in which, when I was an instructor at Virginia College, we dealt with the re-imaging of students when they came into a career college. A lot of them will come out of bad situations. A lot of them come out of failing in schools, community schools before. So they had to re-image. They had to have a rethinking of themselves in this new role, because again, they were investing money and time, and so how they thought about themselves, how they thought about their circumstances, had a lot to do with their success. So I'm looking at some things that I've had experience with, and I'm also looking at practices that have been proven over a period of time to be effective. We got to realize that we can't make everything that has worked everywhere else work here, but I believe we can come up with an idea that, that will be tailor-made for Pensacola, Escambia County, and that it can work. So it's in progress.
Well, would we be willing to take that and integrate it more like with the district and, you know, within the school sites? And I agree we have to make it specific to here.
Yes, I don't mind. We can work with anybody. It's just that a lot of times our resources are not in our control, and how we can dispense it. So we have to look at what we can do within the resources we have, and certainly we don't mind asking for more resources, but that's not always a decision that rests with the Pensacola Police Department.
Okay, we have a question about zero tolerance. Isn't zero tolerance in our public schools a major factor in the issue that we're discussing here tonight? Can someone talk to the role that that plays?
Sure, I can talk about it. It definitely is. It's one of the components of the school to prison pipelines. Now, by statute in the state of Florida, as Attorney Waters pointed out to me right before this panel, but I'm very familiar with it. Districts are required to expel students and respond if it's, you know, an issue of safety, if they have a weapon, with certain drug instances and stuff like that. However, the statute does not require districts to treat every case the same in terms of, you know, certain minor offenses, and that's what we see. You know, I've seen it in certain schools, and I've seen it within districts where they say, all right, if you get into a fight in the school, you're getting arrested, right? That's an example of zero tolerance policies. Well, what do you don't know? Maybe that was a bullying situation that wasn't addressed from the school, right? And that could actually be attributed to the school. Or if you get caught with any amount of drugs or any paraphernalia, you're automatically expelled. We know, or whether we accept it or not, that about 70% of high school students at least experiment with marijuana, right? So we might not be comfortable with that statistic, but we have to accept that, you know, adolescence is a time of risk-taking and exploration, and if a kid is just kicked out because of some experiment and you know, even if it's a drug issue, it does absolutely nothing for it. So we need to talk and figure out individualized responses, and that's what it's about. It's about, you know, treating each kid, looking at the child in front of you, and Superintendent and I were just talking about this. When they come in front of you, you look at those factors. No zero tolerance stuff, and that's something that started after the Columbine shootings in 1999, where, you know, we had to crack down and say, all right, we can't tolerate this madness. But it doesn't work, and we've seen that it doesn't work.
The things that we've been able to do is the zero tolerance policy does tie our hands to a certain degree. But what we've done in our district is look for ways to bring those kids back early. If a child gets expelled for a gun, let's say, or drugs, or selling drugs at school, we work out with that child a behavior contract, and we say to that child, now these are the criteria for you getting to be readmitted back into the school early. You don't have to be expelled for this full length of time. And it's very interesting to me, as the judge said earlier, It's the saddest thing in the world to watch a child come to a school board and have no one there but the person that somebody just drove them there. And you're looking at this child, and we have a very progressive school board, and they look at these children individually, and they've said to me repeatedly, Mary Beth, every child's not the same. Every situation's not the same. We need to look for the win-win. Always look for the win-win. The win for the child, but the win that says we're not going to tolerate this behavior, but we understand you're a knucklehead, you messed up, but we want to bring you back. Because again, that is our mission. And I'm proud that we've made that progress, and we have more progress to make. We're looking at some other things in our current school board policies that are very antiquated. They've been there for 500 years, I think, and they're not applicable any longer. So we are looking at those.